Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. InsyaAllah, today we will present our project. The title of this project is Islamic Law and How It Affects Our Lifestyle. The group member is myself, Muhammad Zakur, Nur Jalila, Nur Jeha, Siti Sarah Alia and Siti Nur Farah Hanani. Our project focus on social issues occurring now, which are tabarruj and couple culture. We focus on teenagers because they are easily influenced by the negative vibes and they are still find their own identity. Besides that, we find the root cause and the solution to overcome these issues, especially among teenagers because they are the assets and will become leader in the future.
I will explain the problem statement mentioned in our group project presentation. According to Muhammad Aizam 2012, secular humanism is an ideology that perceives Islam only as a religion, but the teachings and laws are not attached along to be practiced because humans do not want to be bounded with them. In short, they separate all the religious matters and do anything that they feel suit with their desire. For example, ibadah in Islam is depending on the individual itself and they can choose whether they want to practice the teachings or not. If the teachings are contradicting with their favor, so they will forget as long as their needs are fulfilled. As we can see, many people are being influenced by these ideologies nowadays. According to Muhammad Aizam 2012, westernization leads to urbanization, modernization, and industrial culture that are no longer standing in the true exist of Islam. As a result, they ignore the Islamic teachings and laws, hence they do not apply Rabbism in their daily life. The exaggerated fashion or tabarruj and couple culture now is due to the lacking of practicing Islamic way of life. Rabbism is just not worshipping Allah, but we enslave, we submit ourselves to Him and obey His rules to show and prove Allah as our Rabb. This includes the way we live in now, our lifestyle. We practice Islamic teachings and laws because Islam is a deen that bring a perfect way of life and teaching. Harian Metro 2020. Unfortunately, for most people and we ourselves are unable to carry out the Islamic law and teaching because the system we use now, including politics, economic, society, and system education is based on man-made laws, and we live in a secular society where we separate the religious matter nowadays. In judiciary, for example, the Sharia court's role has been minimized for Muslim in certain cases. Also, Mustafa 2013 said that federal civil courts continued to administer the criminal, commercial and administrative law. In addition, for personal status law for non-Muslims. Next, human ignorance towards Allah's rule makes us disobey His rules that has been revealed to us through revelation of Al-Quran as a perfect and complete guidance for all in all aspects because it is practical, relevant and according to human's nature. However, our attitude that didn't want to dig more what Allah mentioned in Quran makes us assume that Islam is a left behind religion and not doable. Press books, no dates.
For plan and methodologies, our group project used two types of methods to observe the trend and also views from the respondent. From our discussion, we end up using Google Form and also interviewing people. The Google Form has been distributed in the WhatsApp group and also Telegram group that consists IIUM student. We also interviewed students from IIUM so that we don't have to go out from the campus. Basically, the questions that are in the Google Form are the same with the question that we use for the interview. For the first question, we asked their age. For the Google Form, we also asked about their gender. Next, we asked what they understand about Waqiyyah. For not making them clueless, we also included the meaning of Waqiyyah so that they can understand better about it. We also asked if they agree that Islamic law can be used all the time. And for the last question, we asked their opinion about excessive fashion and couple trend.
From the survey, we have 56 respondents, 32 female and 24 male. First, we asked how Islamic law relevant nowadays. 55 respondents said Islam is relevant in politics, economy and social. Next, we ask why Islamic law seem to be ignored nowadays. Majority of them said Islam is just a religion that doing 5 pillars. So anyone who have influenced by the secular and modern system, they cannot practice Islamic law in their daily life. And we also ask about their opinion on couple culture. They said couple have been normalized, but the couple do not know and alert the impacts of being in couple relationship. In simple words, they just doing it because they follow the trend. Furthermore, we asked their opinion about fashion. Most of them said fashion is okay, but tabaruj is haram, and responsibility not only for who is covering the aurah, but people who see it. After that, how Islamic law is too strict nowadays? 54 respondents disagree that Islamic law is too strict to not allow the fashion or know each other to get married. And lastly, we ask them the factor why Islamic law difficult to be practiced nowadays. Most of them said environment is the main factor. I can conclude in 3 ways. First, they think Islamic law is outdated. They are affected by the influencers in the social media, and they see West country as the modernization. Whatever the West country do, they see is a modern way of the life nowadays.
From the interview, we have 3 respondents. According to the first respondent, which is Nabil Haikan, 18 years old, we asked him about his opinion on couple and also excessive fashion. For couple, he mentioned that it is a human nature to feel love, but we also have to follow the guidance of Islam so that we didn't fall into the path of zina. For fashion, his opinion also the same as couple. It is a human nature to feel beautiful, but at the same time, we must follow the teaching of Islam so that we don't become excessive. He also added parents and influenced by Western culture are one of the reasons why teenagers nowadays are lack of knowledge about Islamic law. For the second respondent, which is Alfi Rahmi, 19 years old, we also asked him the same question as Nabil, which is his opinion on couple and excessive fashion. His answer is simple. For couple, he said that he disagree with it because it only can lead to fake hope. And for excessive fashion, he said that it is not a problem to be fashionable, but as long as we follow the Shariat of Islam. For the last respondent, which is Iman, 19 years old, we asked her if she thinks that Islamic law can be relevant to use nowadays. She said that Islamic law is still relevant to use nowadays because there is no solid reason that Islamic law cannot be implemented. She shared with us her opinion about factors of couples. First, she said about technologies. Technology gives us access to see variety things in social media and making us influenced by it, example like couples. Next, she mentioned about film industry. Romantic movie from Western country has catches the joy and fun to be in a relationship. This can influence teenager to be in it too. Lastly, she mentioned about age. Teenagers are still in the age where they always feel curious and they always get involved with something that may be wrong. Next, she shared about her opinion on excessive fashion. She mentioned 2 factors that can be lead to excessive fashion. First, again, she said about technologies. Teenagers will be influenced by the fashion from Western culture in social media. Next is human lust. Human lust is to be praised, so by fashion beautifully, definitely going to give them praise. That will make them fashion excessively without emphasizing the Islamic law. For the last question, we asked her, what if Waqiyyah is not being practiced? She responded by saying various problems will arise, such as the existence of numerous ideology that contrary with Islamic teaching.
On how Waqiyyah help us in preventing tabarruj and unmarried couples trend. There are many solutions on how Waqiyyah help us to prevent tabarruj and unmarried couples trend. Islam has set doable and practicality rules for all human beings. And we explain the concept of Waqiyyah in poster based on the Quran and Hadith. And we send it to the Google form to get people feedback. The first one is Allah has stated in Surah Al-Isra, and do not approach unlawful sexual intercourse. Indeed, it is ever an immorality, and is evil as a way. This verse clearly tells us that we as a Muslim should avoid everything that can lead to unlawful sexual intercourse, for example, unmarried couples trend. Islam has provided us right rules and a way, a step if we want to know someone with opposite gender. So the first one is we must care about our iktilat, because if we care about our iktilat, this is the best way to help us from being in a relationship before marriage, because all the things that can lead to the zina start from how we control and we care about our iktilat. The second one is we are also advised to avoid ourselves from a circle of people that practice unmarried couples trend, because people will easily influence us to do what they do. And for the tabarush, Islam doesn't forbid us to be fashionable, but Islam forbid us to be fashionable that can lead to tabarush and not following Sharia, such as not covering our aura perfectly. Islam has provided guidance on what thing we should wear and not. For male, they can be fashionable as long as they do not wear golds or silk thing. Islam also forbid men to wear shorts that can show their aura from navel to the knees. For Muslim female, Islam prohibit female Muslim from wearing translucent or see-through clothing that can make people see their skin color. And next is female Muslim cannot wear clothing that is too tight, that can show their shape of body. And the last thing that most female Muslim ignore is to cover their chest with a hijab. It is because chest is a part of aura for female Muslim that should be covered. So this is clearly state that rules in Islam are doable, but there is a people who still do the thing that contrary to Muslim rules. And that's all from me.
The concept of Waqiyyah. Islamic teachings and law are in line with human's nature. For example, Allah forbidden zina, but Allah allows us to get married. Allah forbidden riba, but Allah allows us to do muamalat such as business, rentings, loans, and others. These conditions is suitable with human's condition as long as we use Quran and Sunnah as our sources, regardless of time and circumstances. Allah mentioned in Surah Ar-Rum, chapter 30, verse 30. So direct your face towards the religion and adhere to the fitrah that Allah has created for all. There should be no change at the creation of Allah, and that is the true religion, but most of them do not know. This verse shows that Allah has created fitrah or nature that can be perceived and adapted by humans, because Islam is a deen that its laws are suitable to be practiced.
Most people agree with the implementation of the concept of Waqiyyah in Islamic law. Unmarried couples and excessive fashionable trends nowadays are worrying, and people's understanding of the concept of Waqiyyah could prevent this problem slowly. From the feedback for the poster, majority people said that they learn new things, that Islamic law is practical and doable, and they realize that Islam has given the guidelines to get married and fashion, so they could apply it in the future. Some of our respondents also said that they learn about the word of Waqiyyah, as they do not hear about that word before, but they do understand about it now after they read the poster. This shows that the poster is a very effective way to spread the awareness on the social issues occurring now, which are exaggerated fashion, or also known as tabarruj, and couple culture.